it's Dr. Brett here. A couple quick things I thought I'd show you guys. Some stuff I do when I get home from the office. I spend the majority of my day like this. I'm either hunched over a table, everything's forward, or I'm sitting at a desk, like doing notes, working on a computer, and I get, just like anybody else at the desk, I start fading this way. So I really have to work on opening myself up. So some things I do almost daily when I get home. It's a great way to get on the floor with the kids, just basically to kind of open myself up a little more. So here's kind of some tools I use. I've got lacrosse balls. This is what we use in the office. This is another like myofascial ball, for lack of a way to describe it, that I use for some trigger point stuff. Foam rollers, which is pretty standard on here. Then I have a wedge here I'll show you as well too. So here's some simple things that I do that you can incorporate into your routine a little bit here. But basically, foam rollers are real simple. Get on your back. I like to extend my arms up and kind of roll myself back and forth through here. If I have a certain side that's rougher than others, I'll turn myself a little bit and kind of work through that same stuff. If I find a hot spot, I'll sit there a little bit. That's a great thing to do. I can do it through my glutes, same thing. So I can either just turn myself on that side of the glute and work through that, or leg over the top. I don't like getting my knee way out, but even just a little bit through here helps to kind of isolate that muscle group a little bit more. If you've got smaller area stuff you want to work on, that's where these balls come in real handy, whether you're against the wall or whether you're on the floor. So those hot spots between your shoulder blades, and just find that and dig on that thing a little bit. Just work that thing back and forth across there. Same thing with lacrosse ball. You can work through that. You can work through your glutes. Same thing if you got sore legs and calves at the end of the day, whether it's lacrosse ball or the other ball, leg over the top to provide a little more weight and just work through some of that stuff. Same thing, a lot of foot problems with people. Another easy thing to do, if I'm sitting in a chair, I'm gonna pretend I'm sitting in a chair here, but I'm just rolling my foot back and forth over the top of this thing just to loosen up some of that fascia down below there. So that's a really easy thing to do. Again, whether foam roller, the balls, they all work. They're pretty inexpensive ways to help yourself out. My favorite thing is the wedge, which is a general spinal rehab tool. But I like going with this. The top of that wedge is basically at the top of my shoulders. And all I'm doing is extending my head back. I prefer my knees to be up when I do this, and I can just open up my hands. And I'm gonna stay here for 5 minutes on something like this. It's an easy way to decompress the neck and open things back up. If you've got a lower back that gets tense during the day, there's a sweatshirt I just grabbed quick. But basically, roll that thing up under my lower back onto the wedge. Now I'm working on 2 different curves of my spine at the same time. The trick is just breathe through this. Breathe, let your body sink into it a little bit. So I'm forcing a curve here, and I'm forcing a curve here. The 2 curves we lose most commonly. So real simple, 5 minutes to 7 minutes on something like that's a great way to do it. But getting that routine of, like, if you've been sitting at the office all day long or wherever, at home now or whatever it's been, but do these, I call it spinal hygiene, basically brushing your teeth for your spine. If you do this consistent on a daily basis, you avoid a lot of the other big problems. And most people I see, if they were to do this 3 to 4 or 5 times a week on something like that, spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes doing this, it'd be amazing the amount of things you can avoid and problems. So hope this helps.